أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. All praises to Allah, the most merciful, who has blessed us until today. Glorify his name and we pray he continues to bless us forever and ever. Amen. So now, this is our second week of third term. It is a week of corporate and commercial. Corporate and commercial of third term is divided basically into two. We have banking and then insolvency and bankruptcy. Insolvency is a continuity of company. Then bankruptcy deals with an individual. But basically, for purposes of this week, we are dealing with banking. Okay? Banking is divided also into two. Okay? Divided into two. One, when you want to read and appreciate banking, first start with what we call incorporation. Okay? Incorporation. What do we incorporate? We incorporate what we call a financial institution. When you look at the Financial Institutions Act, it defines a financial institution to mean a company licensed to carry on the business of financial institution business. Okay. Then, after understanding what is a financial institution, ask yourself, what financial institution can I establish? These financial institutions are divided into different categories. Okay. The first category, we have financial institutions under the Financial Institutions Act. Then you ask yourself, what financial institutions are under the Financial Institutions Act? Then you start listing them one by one. The first one we have is what we call a bank. Okay, it's what we call a bank. You ask yourself, what is a bank? The Financial Institutions Act clearly defines what is a bank. Okay. Then after understanding what is a bank, ask yourself, what are the requirements of establishing a bank? When you look at the requirements, one should be a company. It should have a minimum capital of 25 billion. Okay? You get it? Okay? Then after the bank, we have another one. We shall look at that best this workshop too. But for you to appreciate how the things go, it should be the flow. Okay? Then after looking at the bank, we have another financial institution under the Financial Institutions Act, which is known as a finance house. Okay? Yes, we have a financial house. It's also a type of financial institution. Okay? Okay? Then also look at its definition, look at its requirements, because you'll be given a set of facts where they require to establish a financial institution, but the requirements, if you don't understand the law, it will be hard for you to tell. Okay? Then after a finance house, we have another known as a discount house. Okay? We started with a bank, we start then a finance house, then we have a discount house. Okay? Yes. What else? One more remaining. You just go to the definition of a financial institution under the Financial Institutions Act. Whatever is included, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Then we have a credit house, not so? Yes, a credit house. These deal with only credits. We have examples here. You have institutions, you know, that give credit only. It's a credit institution or credit house. Okay. We have examples here that these institutions give credit only. They don't do anything else. Which institution is that? We have Platinum Credit. They don't deal with anything apart from giving credit. So that is a credit house or a credit institution. So those are the institutions under the Financial Institutions Act. So once you are given a set of facts to establish a financial institution, you first look at this. You look at how they are established by looking at their requirements. Okay. Then after institutions under the Financial Institutions Act, then you will proceed and look at institutions under the Tier 4 Microfinance Act. Okay. Then you go, you say financial institutions under the Tier 4 Microfinance Act. It also has, okay, so the institutions under these are called what we call the Tier 4, the Tier 4, okay, okay. Financial institutions are classified by the word tier, depending on the share capital. We have financial institutions under Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4. Okay, we have banks here that are in Tier 1. Okay, that is Standard Chartered Bank, basically commercial banks. Equity has just entered there because it's now also a commercial bank. Okay, so we look at the institutions under the Financial Institutions Act. Then after, you go to what we call the Tier 4 Microfinance and Moneylenders Act. You look at the financial institutions under that act. Okay. Yes. So we are looking at them. Okay, so go to section 4 of that act I've mentioned. Okay. Section 4 of the Tier 4 Microfinance and Moneylenders Act. Sorry. It says.
For the purposes of this act, Tier 4 Microfinance institutions shall comprise.
So under Tier 4, we have one. We have a circle. Okay. So you should know how to establish a circle. What are the section 4 of the Tier 4? It gives you the different Tier 4. Okay. Is financial institutions. Okay. And the Moneylenders Act. Yes. Okay, are we there? Okay. So we have a circle. Whatever institution you mentioned there, make sure you know its requirements. Okay. Because workshop 2 is hard, and also workshop 1 is a little bit hard. Reason, it started with financial institution business. Because you can't understand financial institution business without understanding what entity carries on financial institution business. That's why I'm doing this recap, so that by the time we get to that workshop, it is a bit easier. Yes. Okay. So yes. Okay. 1, we said we have a circle. So when you are dealing with a circle, ask yourself, what are the requirements of establishing a circle? Okay. 1, it has a number of members not exceeding. Okay. We shall get there. Okay. Then it should be with members below from the same unit. Okay. You have circles out there. Ladies have circles like nothing. As the president said that abakyala bakole ki? Okay. Then after a circle, the next one we have what we call non-deposit taking microfinance institutions. Non-deposit taking. These are institutions that do not take deposits. We shall get there to understand that. Okay. Let's be slow. Okay. Then the third institution under that law is we have what we call self-help groups. Those are what we call self-help groups. Okay. You make a group of 10, you bring 10,000 on a weekly basis. So when you say in a week, yani Aisha, okay, Aisha olizimuwa ngagenda agula kadress nga bakamusera ngazigwa. Okay, okay. The simplest name is known as Nigina. Okay, then community-based. Then we have what we call community-based groups. It also happens in ladies. Okay. Okay, that's what we call. So you see, all of those institutions, they fall under that act, but that act has another form of financial institution. Okay, so what we call money lending. We have what we call money lending institution. It's under that act as well. Okay, it is at the end of that act around section 70 something. Okay, just go to the definition section. They'll define money lending, sending you to a particular section. It's under section 79. Okay, the money lending institution. So what does that mean? They can give you facts which require to establish a bank, okay, a finance house, a credit house, a circle, money lending, etc, etc. Okay, so it is upon you to come to the conclusion that, okay, this is, depending how you've read the facts, so you'll conclude that, okay, the most appropriate entity is a bank, money lending, microfinance, deposit taking, okay, or a stock, whatever the case may be. Okay. Then we have another institution. We have another institution known as the microfinance deposit taking institution. We have what we call that are not on a different act. Okay. We have another institution known as the microfinance deposit taking institution. Okay. So it has the act known as the Microfinance Deposit Taking Institutions Act. That's why those acts are many, but each act you should know when to read it. Okay. The act is called the Microfinance Deposit Taking Institution. Okay. Yes.
Is it you had said that banking is categorized under two things? Is it the category 2 of the banking?
No, we've said when I was starting, I told you that this course unit of banking is divided into two. We have what we call establishment and then carrying on business. So what they did, your first workshop is carrying on business. Okay. Instead of starting with establishment, because it's better you first establish an institution, then after you go for business. But they did the opposite just to confuse you them more. Okay, that means if you didn't understand banking at undergrad, you don't be a bit. Okay, you get it. Okay, so we go on. So we've said another institution you have is the microfinance deposit taking institution under the act known as the microfinance deposit taking institution. Okay, so that act, so you see all the institutions we've mentioned. Okay, when you are reading them, read their definition, read their requirements. Under requirements, we need capital. How much capital is required to establish a bank, to establish a microfinance deposit taking, a SACCO, whatever the case may be. Then after that, understand the procedure of registering these entities, because you can't operate financial institution business without a valid license. Okay, so now after going through that process of licensing, then we have what we call management. Okay, those who are doing corporate governance, you're going to have an opportunity to redo corporate governance in banking, because we have what we call management of financial institutions. This is what we call corporate governance. Corporate governance basically deals with management of a company. Remember, from our definition of a financial institution, we saw that it's supposed to be a company licensed to carry on the business of financial institution business. By the virtue of the word company, we should have what we call corporate governance. So as a result of that, after establishing a financial institution, you have to look at what we call management. So under management, you will see how we appoint a director and the requirements of a director. Okay, the requirements of a secretary of this entity. Once you are convicted of any criminal offense relating to corruption, you'll never be a director of a financial institution. And you can't be employed in any financial institution. So that we shall deal with that. Under management, we shall put emphasis on what we call fit and proper persons. Okay? Our emphasis shall be on fit and proper persons. That one we shall basically deal with. So whatever we've mentioned here is a summary of workshop 2. Okay? Yes. Okay, so whatever we've summarized is workshop 2. So now, after looking at these institutions, you've understood them, you've understood the requirements, and then you have established and you have dealt with its management. Then after the institution has been duly incorporated, it has a proper management scheme. Then you start what we call carrying on financial institution business. So that is our workshop 1. So workshop 1 basically deals with carrying on financial institution business. So before we drill to the law and the workshop, I'm going to first explain generally. Okay. So now for you to understand workshop 1, we had to have that recap at least. Okay, so that we get to that point. So the presumption is we have incorporated our financial institution, whatever institution it may be. Once it is incorporated, its main aim is to carry on financial institution business. So the question is, what amounts to financial institution business and how is it carried out? That's workshop 1. Okay, they want you to understand how financial institution business is carried out, between who and who, okay, between who and who, and the different roles. Okay, so now when we are dealing with financial institution business, let's first read the act. What amounts to financial institution business? The Financial Institutions Act. Now make sure you're reading the amendment, please. Okay, make sure you're reading the amendment. Okay, the amendment is of which year? 2020. Okay, put that into consideration. 2020. Okay. Okay. Has an amendment of 2020, guys. I'm sure it is there. It has an amendment of 2021. Yes? Yeah, it has an amendment. Okay.
What amendment?
It has an amendment. So check your acts. Okay. Don't worry. That's life of bank. Okay. But don't worry. See all these acts. We are going to read them in a way you don't understand. Okay. Trust me. Okay. But make sure you have your act with you. Yeah, open the act, the Financial Institutions Act. Okay. Okay. Open. 2000. Number 2. Open the first one. Let's go to the definition section. Okay. Let's go to the definition section. Okay. Let's read. Financial institution business. I've not seen it. Means
the business of acceptance of deposit.
So now, when you are applying for a license to carry on financial institution business, it is a requirement that in that license, you specify the type of financial institution business you want to carry on. That's why once you go to Platinum, they specifically carry on one financial institution business, which is extending of credits. When you go to Pride Microfinance, because it is a financial institution and it is the microfinance, okay, there they carry on what we call micro financial institution business. You get it? So it depends, you specify, okay? So let's go.
Issue of deposit substitutes.
Issuance of deposit substitutes. You know what? A deposit, you come, you give money in the bank, you deposit your money there. We have what we call deposit substitutes, where you don't use money. Like what? What we call, we have a legal term, council. They are known as bills of exchange. Okay, are we together? But let's go another one. Okay, it is okay. We have issuance of deposit substitutes, then lending or extending credit. But that lending or extending credit is done in different ways. So they went ahead to explain to you, okay, how credit is extended. That's why you see we have consumer and mortgage credit. You know mortgages, not so. Then we have factoring with or without recourse. So that's for traders. Then we have financing of commercial transactions. Okay, this is what we call bid guarantee. Have you ever heard of it? Those who do bidding with the government. Okay, the bank acts as a guarantor that Rashid can perform with that contract. You give him the contract. We have the money, everything he needs. We are ready. So the literal term is known as performance guarantee. That one. Okay, and please, when you are taking time to read, that is a green area for these guys. If they are to bring banking in the final exam, they always bring that area because it's so confusing. Performance guarantee, it's hard. Okay, because I think it appeared. Did it appear last year? I think it did. Okay, then another one, recovery by foreclosure by means of amount so late. Okay, so you see, okay, that one has been under issuance of what we call credits. Then after issuance of credits, okay, those are under the same. Okay, then another one is engaging in foreign exchange. That's why you see banks and all, but you know, they have banks without foreign exchange. That means they didn't specify that in the application. Not all banks carry on foreign exchange. Mark that. Okay. Then after foreign exchange, another one is
issuing and administering means of payment, including credit cards, travelers' checks, and bankers' checks.
Then another one, it says that issuing and administering means of payment. That is to say, issuance of credit cards. These cards we always move with, okay? Cards that men don't want to give pins to their wives, okay? Another one.
Providing money transmission.
We have what we call providing money transmission. That's what currently we have examples of money transmission. We have worldwide money transfer. We have Western Union. We have MoneyGram. All of those are so. When you see, you go to banks, you ask them, you have MoneyGram? No. Why? In their application, they didn't include that type of transaction. So you cannot carry out a transaction which you have not specified in your app. Exactly. Then another one, there are many, okay? Trading in for own account or for account of customers, okay? Trading in for own account or for money of customers, okay? Is okay, such transactions, okay? Fixed deposits, those are column. You get out of the IA, you feel like taking a community maid. Agent banking is there. Okay. Then another one, there are many, okay? But you go on reading and seeing. We have the basic one, we have safe custody. You know what you call custody boxes? Those boxes, the safe custody, okay? They are called safety boxes. You get a key, they give you two keys. One you give it to one is yours, another one is given to who? No. Okay, the next of kin. So once you die, that person can go and open. Okay, so there we keep our gold, silver, titles, wills. So they are kept under. Okay, so then so the businesses are many. Okay, they are many. So now it depends which type of business the financial institution is carrying out. Okay, so now ask yourself, these businesses are conducted between who and who? Okay, these businesses are conducted between who and who? Okay, we say financial institution business is carried out between a customer and the bank. Is carried out between a customer and a bank. Okay, it's carried out between a customer and a bank. Now, we know who is a bank. Now, differentiate between a bank and a banker. Okay, yes, those two things we have issues with them. Okay, bank and the banker. Okay, the bank is the company as defined under the Financial Institutions Act, because the bank is defined as a company licensed to carry out financial institution business. Okay, so now who is a customer? The bank. Who is a customer? Okay, who is a customer? Yes, a banker. Banker is not anywhere in the law. So, a banker is someone who works in the bank.
No. Who receives the service? Like, for example, if I buy a
you're a customer. Okay, so let's look at who is a customer of a bank. That the act does the act define a customer? A customer is defined by case law. We have a famous Ugandan case that you people don't want to read. It has bounced back. Okay, so we have two cases that define a customer. We have one, the case of Obed Dashovia versus DFCU Bank. Obed Dashovia. Okay, yes. We have the case of Obed Dashovia versus DFCU Bank. The reason why it is case number 1, it covers the entire banking, but it is a little bit huge. I'm not threatening you. Okay, it's just Dashovia. Okay, we go on. So now, in that case, court defines a customer to mean a person with an account in the bank. To mean a person with an account in the bank. Okay, to mean a person with an account in the bank. Okay. Okay. So now you've understood who is a customer and who is a bank. So now, if they want to carry on business together, we establish what we call a bank-customer relationship. Because you cannot carry out financial institution business with a bank and the customer when you don't have the bank-customer relationship. So, okay, a bank is a company licensed to carry on, yes, financial institution business. So now, how do we create a bank-customer relationship? How do we create a bank-customer relationship? Okay, how do we create a bank-customer relationship? Currently, I think we are answering task 1, okay, part A of workshop 1, okay? How do we establish that relationship? Okay, sometimes this relationship it is categorized in, I will say, nature of the bank-customer relationship. When you are dealing with the nature, it has 2. It is contractual in nature. Contractual in nature. Contractual in nature. Okay, it's contractual in nature. Now, you people have problems. Do you have an account in the bank? Which bank?
Yes.
DFC. You use all the terms they gave you.
Yes.
Are you sure?
80%.
I've said all. Not so? Can so you have an account in the bank? Very many. Have you ever read all the terms? I just summary. Do you have you use mobile money?
Yes.
Did you read the terms of using mobile money? Okay. You see the challenges we have in the contractual part of a bank-customer relationship. We sign what we call a bank-customer. We have that agreement that we sign. They tell you, bring 2 passport photos, make a deposit of 20,000. The way you rush, okay? The way you rush, yeah. But after signing, you don't know the implication of that contract. It has a lot of jargons that we don't understand. That's the worst part of it, okay? So we end up entering into a contractual relationship when we have not appreciated the contractual duties of both parties to this contract. Okay, you see the monthly deductions, you don't understand, you keep on complaining, but you signed the contract. Okay, me, I opened up an account. My first account was with Stanbic Bank. So these guys came to school, they said, we have a student's account, they have a lot of benefits. Yeah, I rushed, I opened up an account. After leaving campus, that's when I realized that I rushed. You know what? I signed the contract without knowing that one of the terms of this contract was that one, the account should not go below 200,000 monthly. Okay? When it goes below 200,000, the monthly deduction is 25,000. When it is above 200, the monthly deduction was 500 shillings. Oh, after leaving high school and you come out here, life is different. The maximum my account used to have was 100K. But remember, I could spend like 2 months without checking on it. I'm going, I have 60. Not knowing that it is below 200. So these guys were deducting 25. Get 25. So what I did, so there is a day they sent money on my account. I had spent 4 months without loading a single coin. I forgot that I have monthly deductions. I requested make a 300. After dropping like this, they gave me 200. And on the 200, they deducted the monthly. And now the mistake I did, I withdrew 50K. It was month end. Now it went back below 200. They deducted and what I did, I withdrew all the money. Up now, I've never gone back to Stanbic Bank. Peaceful. And the challenge is they can't close that account. The law doesn't allow them. I've spent 7 years with that account. I don't deposit. I don't even check on it. Now in the movie, you get it. Now, if I make a mistake of dropping a K1M, seems I remain with the 2K. So you get it. But what caused me the challenge? They gave me terms and conditions because I was in a rush. I entered into a bank customer relationship without reading the contents of the agreement. If I understood the contents, I wouldn't have gone for that type of account. Okay? Because you know these guys, when they're trying to convince you, these guys are paid the commission. So the more clients who come in your name, the more commission you get. So if I fell under the trap of a commission. Okay? So when we are establishing a bank customer relationship, we are given what we call contractual terms. So these contractual terms, you should read them and you relate them to what we call the bank customer relationship duties. Okay? And I'm very sure it is a task in your workshop. So that means for you to understand the contractual terms, you should be able to understand the duties of a bank and the duties of a customer in a bank customer relationship. Okay? So we go to the second way of establishing this. Okay? We've said the first one is contractual. Under contractual, nothing much you need. You need to understand what is a contract, an agreement between two parties as per section 10 of the Contracts Act. Okay? Now, another one we have is what we call fiduciary relationship. Okay? It is fiduciary in nature. How does it become fiduciary? Okay? Are you together? Okay? So now, when you read the case of Obed Tashobian versus DFCU Bank, court held that a bank customer relationship is fiduciary in nature because it is based on trust. That's what happened in Obed Tashobian. Okay? Is a relationship based on trust. How does that happen? When you look at the facts of Obed Tashobian, Obed Tashobian received a check from Cityland Bank of Thailand, but it was a $1 check. So he was one of the best friends of the bank manager of DFCU Bank Masaka branch. So when he approached the bank manager, the manager told him, we can't cash in this check on your account. Reason, your account is a shillings account and the check is a dollar check. So you need a dollar account. So because of trust, the bank manager got this gentleman. They rushed to Kampala main branch. Okay, that was Chikubo branch. Chikubo. They opened up a dollar account. Chap. The guy banked the check without taking reasonable steps. It was cashed on his dollar account. Yeah, the guy told the manager, they don't suffer. There and then he started withdrawing. Okay, he made the first withdraw. It was around $500. The first withdraw. Bank manager never more chaya was vamocheza gapa. They didn't use it. What happened? The guy kept on withdrawing and withdrawing very fast. After like 2 weeks, the bank realizes that the check had no money. They cashed a check which had to be bounced when the guy had consumed 70% of the money. So they called him, you say, Obed, you are our good client. You are our clients we have. So we don't want to have grudges with you. So let us understand each other. Okay? The fact is, we gave you money wrongly. But let us kutesa. Let us turn that money into a loan. Okay? Then was it 10,000 US dollars? 100,000. The money was a lot, but the guy consumed the money. Yeah. So what after, because the bank, because of the fiduciary relationship based on trust they had in him, because he was one of the biggest clients in Masaka. Okay, so what happened? This guy refused to pay. He said, I don't have money. Okay, so what the bank did, the guy received the money on his shillings account. So what they did, they took the money by force from the shillings account and combined the two accounts. And the bank started paying it so. So that's how Beta Shua said they are in breach of the bank-customer relationship. And then he went to court. That's how the principle of money had and received came into play. That once, because of the relationship we have with the bank, it has given you money. Yes, it has given you the money in error, but the fact is you received the money. Pay it back the way you have agreed. Tashiva said yourself, me, I'm not paying. Okay? You can't read the case, you'll see how it ended. Okay, but he died a miserable life. Died when he's poor. Okay? So, because of the trust, okay, so that's why the bank, banks have clients even without going through the bureaucracy. Okay, yes, that's what we call fiduciary relationship. Now you can have friends you can't call who are you 2K. I need that I'm in class that I'm at the compare your 2K. Okay. So we go on. So now, after understanding how we establish that it may be by contractual or by fiduciary relationship, once you enter into the bank-customer relationship, it has categories. It has categories. Okay? It has categories. The first category is what we call principal-agent relationship. We have circumstances where the bank is an agent of its client. Have you ever seen it? Eh? We have employees of government here. No, so categories of the bank-customer relationship. Okay, it is what we call principal agents. Under principal-agent relationship, okay? The bank is an agent and the principal is the customer. How does this happen? We have Massey Group of Enterprises Limited. It has 10 employees. Massey Group of Companies Limited has an account in Afua Bank Uganda Limited, okay? As the company, but because the managing partner of Massey Group of Companies is not always around to cash out and pay its employees, okay? It would be hard for her. So what she does, she tells her employees to open up an account with Afua Bank Uganda Limited. Then she places a standing order on what we call Massey Group of Companies that every month, please pay my employees. Okay? So Massey will not go to the bank to approve the payment. She already has a standing order. So what happens after, because the day she says that pay them on 28th, pay them on this, pay them on this. Once that date comes, the agent will just pay, okay? Will just pay directly, even without, because the bank now is a paying agent of Massey Group of Companies. That's what we call a principal-agent relationship, okay? Where the bank is an agent of its clients. Many of your companies, you are here, but your companies pay through the bank, okay? You don't receive money directly from your employee. You receive directly from the bank. Why? The bank is the paying agent of your company, okay? Are we together on that? All of such things are good. They are in your workshop because I saw it, okay? Then another one is what we call data creditor relationship. Yes? The customer. Yes. Because the customer tells the bank, because you open up an account with her, she's the bank, okay? You have employees to pay. Because you are at LDC, you have a business schedule. You can't pay employees. That's a lot of time. So you tell the bank that in my absence, please, on every 28th pay, she's acting on your, that's what we call a principal-agent relationship, okay? Then the another one we have is data creditor, okay? Data creditor, okay? Data creditor. Someone read the meaning of a deposit in the Act, okay? The Financial Institutions Act, meaning of a deposit. We are going to explain data creditor relationship, okay? We have a deposit, something else. Substitute, direct. Go to the okay, no, go to the Microfinance Deposit Taking Institutions Act. Microfinance Deposit Taking Institutions Act defines a deposit, okay? A deposit is money payable on demand. Money payable on demand, okay? Money payable on demand, okay? A deposit is money payable on demand, okay? Okay, yeah, I've summarized that definition. Means money payable on, received and payable on demand. How does this happen? You wake up, you make a deal. Your deal of 60 million shillings. You say, if Hajat sees this money, she will ask for a new buyer. And it is not time for a buyer. So what you do, you run to your bank. You keep that, you send that money to the bank. You have, now the bank has received, not so? Once you give the bank money, okay, like this, now you have to demand that money. Okay, it's no longer your money. That's why you can't withdraw all the money you've deposited in your account. because the moment you deposit money, okay, on your account, you have borrowed the bank. You have borrowed. You get it? So now, for you to get that money, it is payable on demand. You first go and demand the bank that, please, I need some 20K. You put in the card, they ask you how much on your money. So you are demanding 20,000 off the money you borrowed the bank. You get it? Okay? That's why me, the reason I deposited all the money on my account. So now, I realize that I don't have now transport. You see, after depositing, the bank had received. Now I had to demand. Okay? So what I did, I just went on the ATM machine. I demanded because my money is payable on demand. Okay? Same applies to savings accounts. When you look at a savings account, what happens? You fix your account for a particular time. That day, you have agreed that I will come for this money after 4 years. That day, the money becomes payable on demand. So the demand becomes due that day. So what literally this means, because that's why we call it a debtor-creditor relationship. It's like you have borrowed the bank and it has to pay you at a future date. Regardless of the fact that for us in the normal ways, we see it as a normal transaction. You borrowed the bank. Okay? That's why if it is past some time, okay? Imagine, me the reason I wanted money from Absa. So it was a weekend. So I left this place where the class that day here. I forgot that this guy is closed at exactly 1. So when I reached Absa, they told her, cancel to that day walk. So now, okay. So they told her, maybe you can go to Acacia Mall. On reaching Acacia Mall, they told me, every amount exceeding this, you are not a corporate banker. We are charging 100K. Said, oh, you get it? Your own money. They are telling you, for you to give you some money, because you've come late, we shall deduct you late fee on your. So you see, it's no longer your money. The person you borrowed determines how much you take home. Okay, that's why when you got the ATM machine, you can't withdraw more than 1M. It's your money. Okay, no, like once you get it once, you insert the card, you get 1M, you relax a little bit. You insert it again on your own money. Imagine you have an emergency of 4M. Okay, so okay, you get it. Okay, okay, so together. Then another relationship is guarantor, guarantee relationship. Guarantor, guarantee relationship. Okay, we have circumstances where the bank becomes your guarantor. Okay, that's what we call a performance guarantee. Okay, this transaction at times is also known as financing. Okay, financing. For example, you see people who deal with the government. Once you get a contract with government, the government doesn't pay you, doesn't give you money before. So one of the requirements for you to be evaluated as the best evaluated bidder, you should be having a performance guarantee of at least, okay, slightly higher than the money mentioned in that bid. Okay, but 90% of the people who qualify for those bids, they don't have that money. They don't. So what they do, they go to their bankers. Okay, they go to their bankers, they tell them, look, we have a contract here. Okay, we need a performance guarantee of 2 billion. So the bank signs a guarantee. These guys should take to government to confirm that Rashid can perform. These guys have money. They are our bankers. In case of anything, we can easily give them money as well. So the government will be comfortable that, okay, since Rashid is guaranteed by Stanbic Bank, he can perform. So the bank has become your guarantee. That's why it's called a performance guarantee. The bank acts as your guarantor for you to be given an opportunity to perform work for that entity. Okay? That is one of the richest areas for exams. Okay? Yes? Once you fail, the bank can withdraw its guarantorship and the contract will be terminated. Okay? Are we together? Okay? So now, we've entered our relationship and we've seen the different categories. Okay? So now, you ask yourself, how do we carry on the business of financial institution business? How do we carry on the business of financial institution business? Okay? How do we carry on the business of financial institution business? Okay? This business is carried out either by the principal or by the agent. It is carried out by the principal or by the agent. Okay? So now, you ask yourself, what ways or in what ways does the principal carry on this business? Okay? In what ways does the principal himself, because we have forms that are not done by the agent. Okay? We have things that are not done by agents, not so? So now, let's look at ways how the principal conducts financial institution business. Ways through which the principal carries on financial institution business. Okay. One, ways through which a principal carries on financial institution business, where the bank itself, okay. One, acceptance of, or because deposits are dealt with by even agents now. Okay. The first one is acceptance of deposits by way of bills of exchange. Acceptance of deposits by way of bills of exchange. By way of bills of exchange. What do you understand by a bill of exchange? And what are the different examples of bills of exchange? So you go to what we call the Bills of Exchange Act. Okay? The Bills of Exchange Act. You read those acts now, Musa. Mpola, just that you see them like they're huge, you don't know how to flow to get to them. Okay? You go to the Bills of Exchange Act. Are you there? How does it define a bill of exchange?
A bill of exchange is an unconditional order in writing, addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay on demand or at a fixed or determinable future time a sum certain in money to or the other of a specified person or to bearer.
Okay, so you get it. Okay, it is unconditional order in writing. So now you sit and ask yourself, what different ways through which you can place an order to the bank, but when it is in a written form? Okay, that's why they told you have a task to identify the different categories of bills of exchange. Okay. The first one we have is a check. That's the most popular one. Okay. We have a check. We have a check. We have a check. So what is a check? Okay. Under which section? 70 something. Okay.
72.
Section 72 of the Bills of Exchange Act defines a check. Okay. Section 72 of the Bills of Exchange Act defines a check. Okay. Okay. A check is a bill of exchange drawn on a banker. It's payable on demand. So what does this? Okay. At that point, ask yourself, okay, what are the contents of a check? What are the contents of a check? Okay. What are the contents of a check? I know you've ever seen checks. Some of you have them. Huh? Okay. Contents. One should have a drawer and a drawee. Okay. Should have a drawer and a drawee. Lessor and lessee. Mortgagor and mortgagee. Another problem. Okay. It should have a drawer and a drawee. So who is a drawer? Okay. A drawer is someone who has issued the owner of the account. Okay. The owner of the account is the drawer. Then a drawee is the person who is to receive that check. Okay. Now, a drawee sometimes is known as the holder. Okay. A drawee is at times known as the holder of a check. So who amongst the holder? Who amongst the holder? That varies. Okay. The law defines the holder. And mark this. If they don't give you the other one, it should be a check now, the IEA. Sure. The reason why I'm drilling so much on a check, when they are setting the banking, they set guarantee relationship or this. That's why the question of bank. But currently, they are also testing what we call money had and received. Why? I'm using this example for academic purposes. I'm not against any person whatsoever. Okay? And I also implore you to read the following scenarios for purposes of appreciating what we are talking about. I repeat, I use this example for academic purposes. I'm not intending to defame or to demean any person whatsoever. My humble apologies in advance if it so happens. Okay? What I'm saying that when they are currently, when they are setting this paper, the current common mistakes in banking, we have checks because we had a famous case of Frederick Zawe and then Obed Tashobia. They are still ruling throughout. Okay? That's why they set a question on checks. Then another one, we have what we call unjustifiable enrichment. It is a famous principle in banking currently. Unjustifiable enrichment. This was seen in the case of Hamis Chigundu versus DTB. Okay? Take time. Then we have another one known as Simba Group of Companies. Okay? Remember that case? Yes? You know that case? Simba Group of Companies. Let's proceed. Go and Google about those incidences. Okay? they clearly bring out what we call the principle. Unjustifiable enrichment means if the bank has borrowed you money, okay, you used the money, you can't turn around and say, no, I'm not paying because of this. Kuba mu Luganda kibayita okweyagaliza ekisusse. When you read the facts of Hamis Chigundu versus DTB, he went to DTB Uganda, he wanted a loan. Yes, it was Uganda, but DTB Uganda didn't have enough funds to fund the loan. So they contacted DTB Kenya. They did what we call a syndicate loan. So DTB Kenya gave part of the loan and DTB Uganda. Then, but they had an agreement that DTB Kenya should be the one to first deduct its money from Hamis Chigundi's account. So when he saw that it was DTB Kenya doing the deduction, he said, no, it's a breach of bank-customer relationship. I never entered into a loan agreement with DTB, so I'm not paying. So court interpreted that principle of unjustifiable enrichment. So you want to enrich yourself on the resources of the financial institution, then you turn around and you don't pay. Okay? So get the benefit of reading that. Then also, when you look at the Simba group of companies, okay, the managing director, okay, of Simba group of companies got a loan facility from some colleagues from South Africa, okay? But these colleagues, they had a partnership, but not a company, okay? We read the definition of a financial institution. It should be a company. You get it? This guy borrowed from a partnership. So what happened? After constructing some multi-billion projects, he was paying. But as you know, people get challenges, okay? COVID hit them seriously, okay? So probably he got financial issues and he stopped paying, okay? So when these guys demanded, one of the famous lawyers in town, Counsel Mwema the Great, said that his client cannot pay a ghost institution. That the client has the money but cannot pay. Reason, the guys extended a loan facility, a loan, and they are a partnership but not a company. Therefore, they can't carry on the business of financial institution. Now, court had to interpret that law basing on the principle of unjustifiable enrichment, that if they gave you money, regardless of what, pay them. Okay? So when we are reading, please, those three principles. So if you see me taking a lot of time on checks, please bear with me for that reason. Okay? So let's look at the, yes? Is the same, but it's the current name they use. Okay? So now, let's go back. We are looking at the contents of a check. We say it has a drawer and a drawee. Then it should also be that should have a date. Should have a date. It should have the sum of money. Should have the sum of money. Yes. Amount. Should contents of a check. Okay. Should have a date. Should have a drawer. Should have a drawee. Okay. And it should be from a specified banker. Okay. You have a check from Standard Chartered, a check from Equity Bank. Okay. That's the bank. It should have a banker. Okay. Then it should be signed by the drawer. It should be signed by the drawer. Okay. So now, where a check lacks any of the, yes, debt, has debt. Okay. Okay, what you call maturing debt. Okay. Okay. That's why it has debt. Okay. So now, Where the check lacks any, mark this, where the check lacks any of the elements mentioned above, it is known as an incoherent check. Where the check lacks any of the elements mentioned above, it will be termed as an incoherent check. Oh, yes. Okay, okay. The simplest term, it is incomplete. Okay. Yes, it is defined under the Act. Okay, it is defined under the Act. Okay, go to section 19 of the Bills of Exchange Act. That's the definition. Okay, it lacks that. Okay, we go on. So now, after knowing the components of that check, okay, after knowing the components of that check, what are the different types of checks? What are the different types of checks? What are the different types of checks? Okay. We have special crossed check and general crossed check. Special crossed and general crossed checks. The law defines those as well. Special crossed and then general crossed checks. We are still in the Bills of Exchange Act. Okay. Yes, Council, are you there? Let's go to section 75 of the Bills of Exchange Act. Section 75, Bills of Exchange Act. Okay. So general and special crossing of checks. So a check is either bills of exchange. A check is either generally crossed or specially crossed. So let's read the first one.
Where a check bears across its face an addition,
the words
and company or any abbreviations of it between two parallel transverse lines, either with or without the words not negotiable, or two parallel transverse lines simply either with or without the words not negotiable.
Okay, so now what happens currently, we have what we call parallel lines only. Okay, you see the checks you have, they have two parallel lines like this, not so? In between those lines, we have what we call either they put not negotiable or account pay only. You get it? Okay, it has not negotiable or account pay only. What does that mean? That check, it can't be given to any other person. So the account pay, if she drafts a check, okay, for me, and she says account pay only, I can't give the check to him. It is paid to me only. Okay, so that's why I am called a holder of the check. Okay, are you together? Okay, are you together? Okay, so you will also read section 76 and 77. Okay, on crossing of checks. Okay, so what? Yes. Okay, the general one, the general crossings, those are the parallel. Special across they are, because we have two types of crossings. We have the parallel and we read the Act here in 75. Okay, the types of crossings, we have parallel and parallel transverse. Okay, so generally cross checks, they are parallel. Okay, then especially they are parallel transverse. Okay. Hey, you go a checkbook. So you see that you're dealing with something even you don't know. Are we together? So now, after looking at the types of checks, so let us look at the duties of a drawer. You, the person drawing the check, what are your duties? You as the drawer, okay? Yes? Yes? Has no section. Yes? Okay. It means when you have the check, the parallel transfers, it's no longer operative. We only have parallel checks now. Okay, when you look at the check, it has two parallel lines like this. In between, it has the word account payee. Others, they use not negotiable. So that's a general cross check. Okay, it's what we use currently. So okay, yes. When you read the case of Frederick Zawe, those are the problems that were in that case as well. You will read it by force. Okay, it explains checks very well because all the problems started with the check. Everything started with the check. So whether you like it or not, yeah. You're joking with the case. Okay, so we go on. So now, remember, we are looking at the bank customer relationship, how it is. So now, the presumption is we have a bank customer relationship between the bank and the customer. But the way the institution is carrying on financial institution business between the bank and its customer. But the way of carrying it out is by way of bills of exchange. The specific bill of exchange we are looking at is the check. So now we want to see the duties of the bank and the duties of the customer when they are transacting using a check. So these two, one we call it duties of the drawer, who is the customer. That's where we are. Okay. On your reading list, you have a case of Woods versus Martins Bank. Those cases, I think there are two. Okay. We have Woods versus Martins Bank, and is it Woods versus Greenland Bank? There are two cases. Non-stop. Check very well. Okay. None of them. It's not on. Okay, you open the other side today. Okay, you will read because when you read the case of Joachimson, it's case number 12. Read the case of Joachimson versus Swiss Bank Corporation. Okay, it will give you a hint on the duties of the drawer, but briefly they are one. Actually, also have to even innovate the Shovia. The duties are there. Okay. Hey, when you look at that case, I'm telling you, the case of Woods. Woods was a very lovely man. Okay. He truly loved his lovely and beautiful wife, who was lazy for life. Okay. Yes, it's better you marry a woman who is not lazy. Okay. Because I really read the Bible. Okay. But we had a great man in the Bible, okay, who got issues, but all his issues emanated because of a lazy wife. The guy was great, was strong, he was wise, had everything. Okay, I don't know. I don't read the Bible. Okay, so when you read that case, what happened? Woods, they had a shamba boy at home who was supposed to be paid. This shamba boy was paid by way of a check. So Woods was late for work. So what he did, he signed the check. Okay, he gave the wife a blank check. Okay, he just signed and dated. He left the place of amount blank. So he told the wife, honey, I'm rushing, please fill in the money you pay the Shamba boy. The wife was making up. She just gave the Shamba boy the check on its blank. Guess what happened? He filled in the amount he wanted. Okay? Yes. Then the other case, because there are two cases, they have almost the same names. Then the other one, the man had an account in the bank. The woman could steal the and forge his signature. And okay, and the woman and the woman could withdraw money from the account. But this man could see and he keeps quiet because he's in love. Now, after breaking up, he went and sued the bank that the bank connived with my wife and they used to pay checks which I am not aware of. So when you read those two cases, okay, read that case of Joachimson very well, okay? They say that the first duty of a drawer, one, a duty not to issue incomplete checks, okay? A duty not to issue incomplete checks because it gives room for what? For fraud, okay? Then another duty, a drawer has a duty to exercise reasonable skill and care when he or she is drawing checks. Has a duty to exercise reasonable skill and care when he or she is drafting checks. Now, long time ago, it was not mandatory to write in words and in figures. It wasn't. But most people used to use figures, not words. But what used to happen? People could, a zero has a power than how you think now. You write after 10K, I add on a zero. It changes the meaning. You give me 100K, I add on a zero. It changes. So when you are exercising reasonable skill and care, what you do, you write in figures and words. Okay, let us look at the figures that have changed. Okay, the words also change. You see, automatically it will be a sign of fraud. You see how it helps, okay? Then also, when we are writing figures, we have that mark that ends, a slash with equal signs. What's the essence of that? It is called closing of figures. To ensure that it's a closing, to ensure that we don't add on any zero after, okay? That's the essence. So once you don't put it there, it is leaving room for me to add on a zero. You see? So when you are drafting a check, you should exercise reasonable skill and care. Okay? Then another one, you have a duty to notify the bank. You have a duty to notify the bank of any suspected fraud. Of any suspected fraud. Okay? That's what happened in Joachimson. The guy saw the wife withdrawing money like nothing. He kept quiet. And after, now he's saying that the bank connived. Are they okay? Okay? You get it? Okay? So it's your duty. Okay? Then another duty, you have a duty to draw a check which is up to date. Okay? You have a duty to draft a check which is up to date. And then lastly, you have a duty to place an order which is due. You can't tell someone, go withdraw this much. That's why it is a criminal offense. Okay, issuance of false checks. Okay, so once you draft a check, so for you to properly appreciate all those duties, read those cases and read the case of Obed Tashovia versus DFCU Bank, Uganda. Okay. Zombie. I know you guys want to feed it up. You want. You just look at the number of pages, you start dosing. Okay, so we go on. Now, duties of the bank. Duties of the bank. Okay. Maybe also on the duties of a drawer, you have a duty to present the check within working hours. You shouldn't present that check past time. Okay, that's okay. We go on. So then duties of the bank. 1, you have a duty to honor the customer's mandate. In the first place, if I've said pay Rashid, because we saw the definition of a bill of exchange, it's a written mandate. I'm ordering you to pay Rashid. Zizo. Okay, pay him. I've said pay. So the first duty is to honor the customer's mandates. Okay. Then another one, a duty to exercise reasonable skill and care when honoring the customer's mandate. Under that, it has a lot of things. A lot. Under exercising reasonable skill and care, a bank is supposed to call the drawer. If I take the check, which was drawn by Mercy, the bank has to first call Mercy. Is it true? Should we pay? Then she will say yes or no. Okay, that is it. Okay. Then another duty, you have a duty to notify the drawer once the check has bounced. That's the mistake DFCU did. They didn't notify Cityland Bank. That's why their case was hard. They were in breach of the duties of a paying bank. Okay, to notify the drawer when the check bounces. Okay, once I present the check and it's not going to go through, I should notify the bank, or I should notify the person who drew the check. And loan check is what the deposit. Okay. Yes. The second one, to exercise reasonable skill and care. Okay. Any question on checks? That is a task in workshop 1. Okay, you will see them. Okay. Then another bill of exchange. We've been looking at a check now. Another bill of exchange. Okay. Another example of a bill of exchange. We have a promissory note. Promissory notes. You write to me promising me how you will pay. When the term was ending, I saw something in the group that someone had promised someone that wait, the term ends. Yeah. Okay. So people were executing their promises. That's why the group was so down. But at the end, it will justify the means. Okay. Okay. We go on. Another duty. Okay. Okay. No. Another bill of exchange. We have a promissory note. You will look at section 82. Okay. You look at section 82. It defines the promissory note. 82. Okay. Of the Bills of Exchange Act. Okay. Now you write a note promising that you will pay me at a later stage. So it is an asset. You guys, you did accounting. So how? Sorry. Okay. Then another one. Okay. And maybe okay. It's okay. We shall put a note somewhere. Okay. Another one. Another example of a bill of exchange, we have what we call bills of lading. Bills of lading. Okay? Have you ever heard of them?
Yes.
We have traders here, serious traders. Okay? Who ship from Mombasa, who ship, we have traders in Nasan. They ship from Chiku. It's not defined. It's not there. Okay? Yes, bills of lading. What else? What else? Yes? No, it's in another law, not this. That's why I'm not giving you the section. Okay? It's not on. It's not on. It's not on. It's in international trade. Okay? So are we together? Okay? So now, okay, we have seen at the bills of exchange. Okay? So now, we have, that has been the first way how a bank carries on business with its customer as the principal. Okay? It is by way of bills of exchange. Okay? Then another way a bank carries on financial institution business with its customer is by use of agents. By use of agents. By use of agents. We've said that we looked at the first way, how the bank carries on business with its customers. Okay? We looked at by use of bills of exchange. Okay? Then another one we are looking at, how we say that it carries on business through its agents. So that takes us to what we call agent banking. So you go to what we call the Financial Institutions Agent Banking Regulations. I told you already this acting polar. Okay, it's regulations. Okay, Financial Institutions Agent Banking Regulations. Okay, are we there? So under this, you first have to understand who is an agent, how one becomes an agent, and what are the duties of an agent, and the principal, the liability, everything. Okay? Are we there? Let's define an agent. Rahma, where is your act? Let's define an agent.
Person contracted by a financial institution to provide financial institution business on behalf of the financial institution.
That's sufficient.
Section 4.
Section is Rule 4. Okay. It is Regulation 4 of the Financial Institutions Agent Banking Regulations. It says an agent is a person contracted by the financial institution to carry on the business of financial institution, okay, on behalf of the financial institution. Okay, so now you ask yourself, what are the requirements of you becoming an agent? Do you just, because it says a person, do you just wake up one morning, you say, I shall want to become an agent of Stanbic Bank? You go with your bald head, okay? You become an agent. So the law has set out the requirements. Let's go. Let's go to Regulation 5. Okay? It says, approve of conduct of agent banking. Okay? Says that a financial institution shall conduct agent banking, shall not conduct agent banking without prior written approval from the central bank. Okay, so what happens? The financial institution first sits down, they draft what we call the agent agreement. They take this agreement to central bank, okay? And then central bank approves the contract. Once they approve the contract, then they start welcoming people who want to become agents, okay? Are we together? Let's go. Let's look at regulation 6. Persons eligible to be agents. So note that everyone can become an agent, okay? The first one says that a person shall not be appointed as an agent by a financial institution unless this person is a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a company, a cooperative society, a microfinance institution, or any entity approved by central bank. What does that mean? An individual like we cannot be agents. So literally, what you covered in term 1, what we call financial institutions, or what we call business entities, okay, are the ones that can become agents. Okay, you get it? An individual like us cannot become agents. When you read the regulation 6, it is to the effect that for one to be an agent, you should be a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a company. That's why all mobile monies are companies. We shall go there also. It's another financial institution which you have to look at. Hey, okay? I told you this one, okay? You have to be ready, okay? You wait for the car. Okay, so now, okay, now, once you pass the criteria under regulation 6, okay, what things should you have for you to commence transacting as an agent? Okay, okay, you go to regulation 7. 1, you should, okay, it says a person shall not be appointed as an agent unless the person has, for consecutive 6 months prior to the making of the application, operated an account in a financial institution. So what does that mean? For you to carry out, you should be a customer of the bank. Okay, you should be a customer of the bank. You should have an account in the bank for you to be an agent. Yes? You have accounts in all banks. Yes. And each bank over once I had needs a requirement of about 10 million. 10 million each bank. So don't joke with me with agent banking. Okay. But now, competition is high. Okay. So then another one, you should have a licensed place of business. So that means they need you to have what we call Form 18 of the company, literally. Okay. I'm not even. Okay, we've said that we are looking at regulation 7. Okay, you should have a physical address. Okay, you should have adequate and secure premises. Then you have been engaged in licensed business under regulation 2 for at least 12 months. So now, okay, so now we presume you have the necessary requirements. You have become an agent. Okay, you have become an agent. So what are your obligations as an agent? Okay. You go to regulation 9. Okay. So under this, we are looking at the duties of a financial institution and the agent. You are given facts in your workshop where the agent was in breach of some of his or her duties, and then the financial institution also failed in some of it. So they want you to hold the institutions accountable. Okay, you will see that just 1. Okay, it says a financial institution approved to conduct agent banking is liable for actions and omissions of its agents relating to banking. What does this mean? If I bank with him, is an agent of Centenary Bank. I give him my money to deposit on my account, and I don't get that money on my account, the bank is liable. Yes. Why? When you read the case of Mwonge versus AG, okay, a principal is vicariously liable for the actions of the. So his failure as an agent to deposit money on my account, the bank faces the repercussions. Yes, because he is acting for and on behalf of the bank. Yes. Yes.
And she doesn't.
You sue me the bank. Okay. Okay. Then another one. Then 9.2 says that each agent or outline yes of the financial institution. When you go out there, no, we said we are looking at both at the same time. So we first looked at those of the financial institution, then look at those of the agent. Okay.
So we are
financial institution.
Really? You said regulation 9.
Page is so many. You see it. Okay. Okay, so let's get back. Paula, okay? Or we'll take a break. Okay, then let's go on. Okay, so now when you look at regulation 9 sub-regulation 2, it gives a number of obligations, okay, to the financial institution. 1, it should give what we call the identification number, okay? It's called agent ID, okay? That agent ID, when you look at the post of that agent, written in a blue mark for easy identification. So we'll gain now to transact, please capture it, you keep it. What if your money does not come? How will you claim? But I'm very sure you people go there. You always deposit from that, but no one knows the agent ID of that institution. Huh? Yes.
Now, if that man does not fetch the account,
we are going there. It's another duty. Okay.
Assign each agent to a specific current branch.
Okay, now each agent, for example, those guys, okay, they have ABSA. They are answerable to ABSA one day gear. They have equity. They are answerable to equity one day gear. Down there, they have Stanbic. They are answerable to here. Centenary, where? Makerere University. So each agent is attached to a particular branch. It is mandatory. That's so where you come, you transact from here, and the money is not reflected. You don't go to the main branch, raise a complaint. You go to the branch. In the first place, you will see such things in Pola in your workshop. Okay. Then, and others, they are under the same regulation. One, they have to ensure they have what we call a timely, responsive transaction. What does this mean? It's under regulation 9 subregulation 2 as well. A timely, responsive transaction means that once I bank money, it should reflect automatically on my account there and then. Okay? It is a timely, responsive transaction. Why? That once I deposit money, it should reflect on my account there and then. Now, you people had issues. Even me, I've ever deposited tuition of LDC and didn't reflect on the system. And the deadline was due. You know the pressure, okay? You go there down there in accounts, system is off. Oh, and once the system is off and it doesn't reflect late payment, and that 50K my dear, it pains in the different okay? But now that is not your problem, okay? Okay, you get it. So the why? Once you pay, we expect that timely responsive transaction, your money to reflect automatically. That's why you receive 2 messages after depositing. You say Equity Bank. Equity Bank confirms payment of this much. They have to confirm there and then. But my dear, okay? Then another duty, a duty to issue hard copy receipts. A duty to issue. That's why once you bank, that machine brings out, okay, that hard receipt. But my dear, once you go for banking and they tell you receipts are over, don't bank. But Muna, I know the law, but I'm a victim of how many times. Every time I say, cancel receipt not a money, I take a munja message. Okay? And sometimes network is down. We don't get messages. But the messages that don't miss monthly deductions. Even if the network is down, that message will come. Okay?
When you give them your number or where to deposit, they don't have money. They say you go and you receive a message. Yet they are waiting
for cash. Okay, so you get it. So once you go, and another challenge with those receipts, once you put that receipt in your pocket, by the time you get home, it has no content. So the remedy, what should be done? Each agent banking should have a photocopier. Once you get the receipt, okay, you make a photocopy because the photocopy can't go off. But that receipt, you can check, it goes off. So it's not good. Eh? Then lastly, the last duty, okay? Okay. The last duty, they should maintain adequate technological services. You see those machines, they are given by banks. You don't buy it anywhere. You don't buy it anywhere. Take it back to the bank. Those payway machines, they are given by the bank only because it is the duty under the act. Yes, you buy it on the money you put there. Okay? They give you that machine. Okay? The machine they use, it's a technological, it's a duty under the law. So you don't buy that machine yourself. You as the agent should be the bank to give it to you. Okay? Yes. So those are all duties Now, when you look at that, what are the duties of an agent? Okay, duties of an agent. Okay, it's like this. The money you pay to qualify, because they ask for, like, it depends how busy the bank is. Stanbic, they want 10 million for you to become their agent. So on that money you pay, they give you a machine. You don't buy it anywhere. Yes? Literally go over the law says it's a duty of the bank. Okay, we go on. So duties of an agent. One, a duty to exercise reasonable skill and care. A duty to exercise reasonable skill and care. How? Don't leave that place before they ask the names of your account. Don't leave that place before they ask the names of your account. Okay? Because you have a fiduciary relationship, you're banking from that person, you have the account. Yes, sweet. Hey, my dear, I just take a poor account your one away, please. Hey, you see, that is. Hey. Then another one, a duty to report any sort of fraud. A duty to report any sort of fraud. A duty to report any sort of fraud. Okay. Then another one, a duty to display the identification number in a visible place. They write it here where nice. Okay, the identification number in a visible place. Okay, ID number. Okay, it's called identification, so it's abbreviated as ID number. Okay, then another one, a duty to make timely reporting to the branch that undertakes it. Okay, we go on. So now, if the bank does not conduct business through its agent, okay, if the bank does not conduct this business through its agent, how can it conduct this business? Through what we call internet banking. So then we go to what we call internet banking. Yes, what we call electronic banking. Okay. So we have what we call the Electronic Transactions Act. Okay. We have the Electronic Transactions Act. This is the law that governs the internet banking. The Electronic Transactions Act. Okay, the Electronic Transactions Act. Is it on? Now, under this, we have internet banking. You say visit www.absa.ug.com. You log in, you make a transfer. I can't risk my money. No. That day they are telling me to go to the website. I said, what I know that happens at NASA Road. These guys are like they're viewing our phones. However, Now, let me tell you, that banking system, I don't agree with it. Me, I'm a victim. How? I had a Visa card. It was a gold Visa card from Absa before it came to Uganda when it's in South Africa. So I was using it in Uganda. So remember, South Africans are, I don't know. So what happens? These guys are always on the system of banking to see these gold cards, how they move. Yeah? Because when you have that gold card, you use it anywhere you want. So me, what I did, I went to Mukwano towards Chibuli. There was that ATM machine of Stanbic. So I placed in, I made a request, a demand of 700,000. So after I was like, no. The machine said, pick your card and wait for money. It counted money, it opened. Money didn't come. It gave me the receipt. Oh, now I was going to IU to pay. I sat down in the ATM machine. Now, I was like, I have the receipt. It showed me that you have withdrawn. The camera shows I'm in the machine. It is me. No one is there. Once that machine opens, it has. So what happened after? So I got the courage to call my mom. She told me, I forgot to tell you. There are streets you don't use when you have that card. So these guys know busy streets and non-busy streets. So once you insert your card like this, they are on the system. Once you put in the card, the pin, and you press enter, he also presses enter. The money diverts. You get the receipt. That's electronic banking. From that day, I gave the card back to the owner peacefully. Okay? Okay, yes. Okay. So I got the receipt. Now I said I go to I go back home. So I swear I looked at how to complain. Okay, I had a Visa card, okay, of Absa. Absa is not in Uganda. I used Stanbic Bank. Nenga kangeneko kwa Stanbic. I complain. Okay. I used Stanbic because I knew it's the safest. Only it has the biggest challenge with internet. Nigerians hack that system of Stanbic. Oh, you remember recently, there is a guy. That guy was at the Winton. There is a time where mobile money lost 5 billion. Okay, from MTN via Stanbic. The guy who did that is a Ugandan. The guy was dismissed from Stanbic. Okay? Yes. Okay? The guy was dismissed from because he was monitoring the ICT department and he was dismissed. Yeah. Okay? What he did, Navakuba. That's why they do after every 2 weeks, they do system upgrade now. You receive a message. Why? They know. They change the system after every 2 weeks because of that. Okay? Yes.
You say when you push your card, you are not going to withdraw money.
Yes. The receipt. Yes. I didn't get money.
Where do you think the money?
Now, no, what happened? Because me, I called my mom. She told me no. That anyway, that she told me it's okay. Someone was waiting. So what happens? Some guys within the system, they monitor those transactions. Okay, they see that this street is not busy, this street is busy. So that ATM machine at Mukwano, it was basically for Mukwano group of companies. So it was rare for someone who doesn't work in Mukwano to use it. So once I placed my card, it reflected on the system. So now someone who was eagerly waiting knew that, okay, this one is going to make a transaction. So once you press the pin, instead of money coming out, they also press and money goes electronically, not in cash.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
You have a Visa card, our normal card.
Okay, let's finish and we go on. Okay, let's go on. Okay, these things happen even on mobile money. Okay, even on mobile money. Let's listen. Okay, someone has ever called you and they tell you, do you have your mobile money phone with you? Press this. You get it? Once you press, this guy has a system line. He will press enter. You will see you have withdrawn. That's what happens. Okay?
This one is a double transaction. I am watching your account, your transactions, and by that you've come to transact. I'm on system. I've seen you started the process. So the moment you start the process, you initiate withdrawal. I also initiate another transaction wiring the same money to my account. So the only thing I need from you, the moment you place your pin, money comes to me, receipt comes to me.
You know where they are.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, so now when you look at internet banking, we said it is governed by the members. Let's listen. Let's get back. Okay, it is governed by the Electronic Transactions Act. Under this act, when you read the act, it defines what we call electronic transaction. Under which section?
2.
So let's read section 2 of the Electronic Transactions Act. Okay, it says
Section 2 of Electronic Transactions Act. It means
it's not there.
It means the exchange of information or data, the sale or purchase of goods or services between businesses, households, individuals, governments, and other public or private organizations conducted over computer-mediated networks.
You see, literally, these are transactions conducted over computer-mediated ways. Under this, we have what we call, you download the application, okay? You visit www, those are the 2 ways of internet banking. But what happens? The terms and conditions of that transaction are not physical. Once you log in, they'll bring terms and conditions written in small letters where you can at least twist your eyes and you fail to see. And they bring here, agree to proceed, because you want money instantly. Agree is always in big letters. The mistake we do, we press agree. You don't want to read the content, you want money. Okay? Then you proceed. At the end down, they say set your identification PIN. Okay? You insert the PIN. Then they tell you confirm. You also confirm. They say PIN set. Sometimes now, what the mistake we always do, Google is stupid. They ask you, do you want to remember your PIN? Always press no. Always press no. Okay? When you're dealing with internet banking with money, press no. Why? Once you press yes, your password remains on your Google Chrome. So once anyone accesses your Google Chrome, they automatically the transaction goes on. Okay, that's the worst part of this transaction. Okay, so now there is no way you're going to blame the bank. Okay, it is your mistake, because under those terms where you press agree, that condition is there to keep your PIN as a secret, but you don't read. Okay, just press agree. Sweet. Hey, after getting the money, you forget to delete on Google Chrome. After every transaction, you have to close those tabs for the transaction. But here, you save them as if you're saving cases. So at the end of the day, so once such happens, the question is, who is to blame? Is it the financial institution or you, the customer? We shall find out. Okay.
Maybe for the interest of the class. Many of us use these platforms. Some of us may use dating platforms, Tinder, Badoo, Badoo. What happens with these business platforms? But this is what happens. They have what they call a premium package. And to go on the premium package, you pay using
credit cards. Yes.
So in this process of effecting the payment, you put in all the details and buy your credit. You fill in all the information. So when I come, I will monitor the transactions and no rush. If this, then I can also see your bank balance using the same. I'll give you interest to look at it from here. Let's give you options.
Okay. Now, for example, try to download the Blackstone Dictionary. Okay. Try to download it. You first pay for it. Okay. Me, when I was downloading it, because I knew I didn't pay using the Visa card. I didn't. Because the more you use the internet, you get points. I used my points. Okay, they deducted on the points, but not once you insert the Visa card. Okay, you get it. So you get it. Don't, once you do that transaction, after delete. Okay? Yeah. Yes.
They assign that payment. Where it comes to the second.
Yes.
They give you a reference number.
Yes. But now, the reason why we are talking about all this, to be aware of fraud. Once you carry on that transaction and you become a victim, you can't recover. You can't recover. Never. Because they will bring out the terms and conditions. Okay? So when we are using these transactions, take time and read. Okay? You get it. Okay? So now, lastly, if not agent banking, if not internet banking, we have what we call mobile money. We have what we call mobile. So you have what we call mobile banking. Okay, that's what we call mobile banking, stroke mobile money. This is governed by which act? We have the mobile money guidelines. Okay, mobile money guidelines. Currently, never bakubbe mitwalo 10 ku mobile money, never blocking a line. They want a court order. Even if you lose 100K on your mobile money, they want a court order for you to give you that money. And once that money stays redundant for a particular time, it goes where? To the consolidated fund. 6 months. So once your line gets lost with Kamani, please, once it, yes, Okay, but getting it, you need a court order. Okay, so let's go to these regulations are not big. Okay, it is act number, some is 40. Okay, okay, so now when you look at mobile money, okay, under mobile money, okay, do you have an account on mobile money? An account number? Yes? I'm talking about the account number. Do you have it? So now, what happens in mobile money? We don't have the bank customer relationship, but we have what we call a consumer bank relationship. Consumer bank relationship. It's not bank, you become a consumer. Okay, it's consumer bank relationship, because under mobile money we don't have accounts, so you can't be a customer, so you are a consumer. So we want to understand who is a consumer. Okay, consumer bank relationship. Okay, so for you to understand who is a consumer, first go and read what we call, before you read, okay, before you read the mobile money regulations, okay, okay, wait, we are going to go. Okay, we are looking at what's called mobile banking. You get it? Okay, we have mobile banking and mobile money, they are different. Okay, you get it? Okay, so now let's go to the Bank of Uganda Consumer Protection Guidelines. Yes, like Sarah. Okay, Bank of Uganda Consumer Protection Guidelines. We want to understand who is a consumer, because in your workshop you have to differentiate between a consumer and a customer. Okay, are we there? A consumer means
An individual.
a consumer means an individual or a small firm who uses, has used, or is or may be contemplating using any of the products or services provided by a financial service provider. Now, why do you think we cover that? Because 90% of the mobile money enterprises are bank agents. And remember, an agent acts as a financial institution. So any person who uses a mobile money with the bank, okay? So you use any of the services. For example, we have a man who has ever gone to Old Tax Park. Omusajja atuulawo waggulu opposite butter. And a box I know byapanga like this. Abaana obwebiri ebiri mutwa obupya. Bakugamba change w'omutwalo mutunda kanaana. Okay, that's his business. Okay, wali bw'oba oyagala change w'omutwalo 1,000 akuwa kanaana. Agaba bupya bw'okukata wa sente nkadde. Okay, this is okay, listen, members, listen, because we want to understand. Okay, so that person, what he does, he enters the bank in the morning. Okay, he enters the bank like with 1 million. When we try return it, n'abagamba njagala ku change. Okay, njagala ku change. Nakuuza tukuwa atya? Timpa 10,000, 2,255 mutwalo. Ompe n'ebinusu ebye 10,000 n'ebitaano. Free of charge. That person has no account where that person is called a consumer. Okay, that person is called a consumer. You've entered to get the 6 bank consumer relationship. So a consumer, you enter the bank without an account. Okay. Another example, you enter the bank, you have your car $300. Okay. So you go for foreign exchange when you don't have an account in that bank. You are consuming one of the products. You get it? Okay. Then another example, people who receive money from their sisters from Abu Dhabi, Aisha. Okay. Hey. Okay. People have investors from Dubai and Qatar. Eh? You get it? So once you go, okay, to use money remittance services, you are a consumer, but not a customer. But now you ask yourself, how does the law protect a consumer? Because that mandatory relationship is not there. Okay, you get it? Okay. So then when you relate the same to mobile money, okay, we have people who buy United Dachika. We have United Dachika za Airtel. Okay. Otunda data. Since when did mobile money start selling data? So those guys are consumers. So let us read a consumer under the mobile money guidelines now. So we go. Yes, consumer, yes. Yes. First go for consumer.
It's consumer protection.
Mobile money.
Yeah.
Yes, you can read. Okay.
Consumer protection, section 5, I mean guideline 5, refers to measures put in place to ensure that consumers receive information to enable them to make informed decisions, are not subject.
Stop there. I'm very sure buli omu weekend waliwo ka message ka Airtel kajja weewala abafere. You get it? Okay? It has a title in capital letters. Weewala abafere. They put exclamation marks. They start writing. You get it? That's what we call consumer protection. So that once you regularly make transactions, okay, you get it? You receive that message, okay? And then after receiving money, they always send, please keep your PIN as a secret. Why? Those are what we call consumer protection measures under mobile money. Okay. You receive message, they say, our system is going to be down for maintenance. Don't do this and this. They said the official number of Airtel Money customer is 0200638812. Then someone calls you with 0752. Hello? Do you have a konyawo? Oyogera kone Vincent okuva mu Airtel Money. A number yeno wajiwandisa ddi. Okay? Yes, Madam Uliriza, enamba yenu tugenda gisalako. Bw'omubuuza lwaki, line eno yali manyago ng'omugamba nedda. Teyali manya ga Isma. Kakati line eno wagikyusa totaddemu kigalo mu system. Line ye egenda kusalibwako mu ssaawa 2 okuva kati. Olinako ssente? Meka. You get it? Okay? Why? Once you see the number calling you, it's not the official number from Airtel. These guys protected you as their consumer. You adamantly agree. You put in a PIN. Okay? And if your money disappears and you claim, did you read the consumer protection guidelines? You look on us, you can't claim your money because you didn't understand how the law protects you as a consumer. 90% of us registered for mobile money, without reading those guidelines they send us. Okay. Okay. So now, after everything we've seen, the only thing we didn't look at the maximum amount on a check. Okay, the maximum amount on a check. The maximum amount on a check. Okay, what's the maximum amount on a check? We have the Bank of Uganda directive of 2000. Before the death of the big man, he issued a directive where changes were effected in the maximum amount on checks. It is there. It is on this compendium, I'm sure. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's not on, but what's the max? You will transact with checks. Olaba ne cash bwemba muteeka mu nsawo olugalo ndulinda kala nendusimula bwenti sikagenderako. Okay, so are we together? What's the maximum number? There is a directive, the Bank of Uganda directive, which changed the maximum amount of checks. Council Elton. Okay, Council Elton. What's the maximum amount? Council Daniel, kindly save the crowd. Okay.
Yes,
what's
Rashid.
the maximum? Yes, the current maximum.
I think in the advent of COVID, it is now 10 million.
It's 10 million.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it's 10 million. But mark this: we have what we call in-house checks and in-house when it is coming from Stanbic going to Stanbic. Does Council Daniel, does a limit operate on in-house checks?
No, although
It
banks
does
are
not.
charging, banks
Now,
charge across the counter.
okay. So that check doesn't go through what we call the clearing house rules, which you have down here that you don't know why they are here. Clearing house rules only operate on what we call cross house checks. You're writing a check from Stanbic to ABSA. It has to first go through the clearing house, following the clearing house rules. Okay. So now, what happened last year in the IA? These guys, they gave them an error. They gave them a check, which was an in-house check. It had 20 million. So these guys discussed bankers very well. They put an error on the bank, not knowing that it was an in-house check, that they cashed a check which was beyond the limits. 90% failed the IA because of that. Okay, so please mark all of those. So briefly, yes, the limit of in-house, a check within the same bank, it has no limit. Let's just share that on the platform. Okay, they are sharing the directive on the platform. Okay, in-house in the same bank, they don't have a limit. Okay, and then out-house, they have 10. I don't call it. Okay, so where they're of different banks, they have a limit of 10 million. So mark that. Okay, mark that. Okay, And maybe another thing you need to put emphasis on, but it will be basically in workshop 2. Okay? Workshop 1 is done. We are going to just read the facts, but you'll be answering yourselves. I'm very sure. Okay? Now, when you look at, you also look at what we call money laundering. Disclosure, okay, of source of money. Okay? Money laundering, which is under the Anti-Money Laundering Act. Each bank has that duty. Okay? Me, when I was still at IUIU, I suffered with that account, that a standard girl. My account used to have like 200, 100K. So unfortunately, they sent me tuition of 2A. My account was blocked. Why? They told me, come and explain. Where have you got this huge amount of money? So you get it. That is money laundering. That's why people who deal in real estate, they don't want to be paid in the bank. They love cash. Why? Once you deposit that money there, taxes will start saying, come. They say, proof. You bring the sale agreement. Once you bring the sale agreement, ground rent will come, URA will come, KCCA will come. They take around 30%. They say, no, give me cash because of that, okay? So now, let us look at our workshop 1, okay? We are going to read these facts, but now you will be able to understand that, okay, this falls here and this falls here. Very fast, even without wasting time, okay? Workshop 1, part A. It says, Bonrich Enterprises Limited, BEL, is a duly incorporated company involved in the business of buying and selling produce in Uganda and the East African region. The company opened up a current account with Centenary Bank Uganda Limited in 2020. So go to Komao. What is the relationship between Bonrich Enterprises Limited and Centenary Bank Limited? Bank customer relationship. Why? These guys have an account. Let's go. Copies of the same are at the bank availed several forms with the terms and conditions to the company. So that means you have to read those terms and conditions. But I know they are very tiny. Okay? Okay, let's go. Because Bonrich Enterprises Limited is keen on improving economic condition of its employees, it negotiated with Centenary Bank for its employees to open up bank accounts. The bank and BEL also agreed that the employees of BEL would exclusively receive their salaries through Centenary Bank. The bank and BEL signed the memorandum of understanding under which they agreed that. So what is the kind of bank customer relationship between BEL and the bank? Principal agent relationship. Okay. So now they agreed on the following. 1, employees of BEL would be given a salary loan, salary loans at a preferential rate of 12% compared to the market rate of 19.5. This rate of interest would immediately raise to the market rate of 19.5 should any employee violate the agreement between Centenary Bank and BEL and divert salary to another bank, or should the employees leave the employee of BEL. Now, what they want you to see, to show them, are these terms valid? Is a bank allowed to go below the standard interest rate? Okay. No, just say, is it allowed? Okay. Is it allowed? So the Bank of Uganda. Okay, so the bank, members, listen, when it comes to control and supervision, all financial institutions carrying on the business of financial institution, deposit taking, they operate what we call the Depositors Protection Fund. By which bank? The central bank. So as a result of that, the central bank exercises supervisory powers over them. And among the supervisory powers, they set what we call the maximum or minimum rates. The bank should not exceed or should not be below. So it is mandatory. So this memorandum cannot stand because one, they are in breach. Yes, Hans? Where they don't give, you just go to the Bank of Uganda Act. It is there, a standard for, but the facts I've given you, it is 19.5. The market rate, But the BOE rate, just go to the Bank of Uganda Act. It is there, the standard one. Because they always change, yes. But if they don't change, you consider the one in the Act. If not, we are going to read the attachment, the memorandum behind. It is there, okay? Then B, Centenary Bank would be availed personal information records of the employees of BEL by BEL, as well as their tax identification numbers as part of the Know Your Customer requirements, duty of non-disclosure. Okay? Can they violate it or they cannot? Okay? Then C, the bank would not be liable to the employees for sharing any information as in B. Okay? As in B, above with URA or any government agency that may require those records for any criminal or tax investigation for any particular employee or for ensuring general tax compliance for all taxpayers in the country. So what does this mean? Are these employees customers of the bank? Are they customers? Okay. So can the bank disclose their information? Yes. So that can the bank disclose? But they are protected by their consumers. They are protected by the Bank of Uganda Consumer Protection guidelines. They shouldn't disclose. But the memorandum says, okay, then D, BEL would ensure that it notifies the bank in the event of change of employment status of any of the employees, just in case they have outstanding bank loans with the bank. Yes. They have bank accounts, but for a particular purpose. For receiving, that's the biggest challenge. Okay, they are salary accounts. That's the challenge with that account. Have you ever operated a salary account? Can you make any other transaction in that account apart from receiving the salary? Ask those. Yes. No, you wait tomorrow, you will see. Some will tell you they are consumers, others will tell you they are customers. Reason? Because here the agreement is specifically for salary. That's what that. But we shall harmonize. You don't worry. Okay? We shall harmonize. Councillor Daniel. Councillor Daniel. What is the position in such transactions?
They are clients.
They
because
are
also they have accounts. They are customers, okay, because also they have accounts with the bank.
Okay, so they are customers. So can they, so the bank cannot give out their information.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the question on that part. Assume your law firm, M.S. Kent Solicitors and Company Advocates, was retained by the company as its lawyers. A. Explain to your client the relationship between Centenary Bank on one hand, the company and the employees on the other hand. Okay? I think we have the answer. Okay? Between Bell and Centenary, the employees of Bell and Centenary. Not so? Then 2, explain the standard terms and conditions here to attach. Relate them to your understanding of the bank-customer relationship and explain the salient features thereof. So what they want here, they want you to read the bank-customer relationship. It's fiduciary in nature and contractual. You look at the duties of the bank and the duties of its customer. So you come on the attached terms and conditions. You read a few paragraphs that contradict rules that cannot be breached. Okay? So this is annex. The letters are too small. However, there are a few things we can tell. Okay? You got to discuss bank customer relationship particularly so that the bank and the company have the best name. They have bank customer and then respond. Yes. Yeah. And these terms. But what you should know, okay, what you should do, just go to where there is liability, okay? Look where there is liability. That's where the problem is always. The bank exonerates itself from liability, basically on internet banking and some other transactions, okay? They are too tiny. If we say we are to read, we may leave this place next month, okay? Yes, okay? Then let's go. Then what potential liability could arise from the document marked A? Potential liability, they are talking about breach of bank customer relationship. They once you realize about that the terms and conditions attached here too are not favorable. Okay, so what you do, you show that when they are in breach, the bank can be held liable. That's what they want. Okay, you get it? Okay, potential liability. So once you read the terms you've seen behind, you're going to realize there is I'm sure what it may be breached, non-disclosure and liability in what we call agent banking and internet banking. So the bank is exonerating itself from liability where you lose money using internet banking, where the system is slow. Remember, it is their duty to maintain a running system. So they will exonerate themselves. So under that, they want you to show whether there is any liability that may arise. And the answer is yes. Okay. I will try to sit and I see how I come I come across those two things. Okay. But if we say we are reading the terms now, people are tired, people are dozing, people, it's a Friday. Okay. But then the legality or lack thereof of the memorandum. So the question is, Can the memorandum stand? You saw the part of the terms in the memorandum that they gave us, okay? You get it? Because the memorandum says the bank is at liberty to issue out the information relating to the employees. Is that allowed under the bank-customer relationship? So that means the memorandum cannot stand, okay? Part B, it says, assume the company made the necessary changes to its structures, okay? In accordance with applicable law, it applied and was appointed a banking agent for Centenary Bank Limited. So that means which law are you reading? The agent banking regulations, okay? It has also been appointed as an agent for Mobile Money Uganda, MML, carrying out its operations from Kajans area. Why are they saying Kajans area? Under duties of the bank in agent banking, they have to allocate the agent to a particular branch. So what does that mean? These guys are operating under Kajans branch, okay? So that means you are reading the agent banking regulations and then the mobile money regulations. So what happened? On the 8th day of July 2022, the general manager of Mobile Money Limited received a complaint from Katono Rashid, a customer who allegedly deposited 4 million Uganda shillings with bail as agent of both Centenary Bank and Mobile Money Limited. 500 was to be deposited on his mobile money fund that, and 3.5 on his account that with Centenary Bank Limited. Unfortunately, at the time the system were down and the managing director bail, Mr. Clever Mutoni convinced Mr. Katono to leave the money with him and that the same would be credited on his phone and account later. What are the duties of the bank in such circumstances? To maintain a running technological system. Why was the system down? You saw we are apportioning liability to the bank now. Then we proceed, okay? He also gave him a stamped note to this effect. However, after waiting for 6 hours without receiving any message notifications for the deposit on his phone, a timely responsive system where you receive messages and receipts, was it maintained? We go on, okay? Mr. Katono got concerned and reported the matter to MTN Mobile Money. When MTN Mobile Money contacted Mr. Clever, he promised to handle the matter. He sent MTN Mobile Money an email to this effect. What are the duties of MTN Mobile Money? To monitor and supervise its agents, okay? And to handle complaints, not so? However, after another week, Mr. Katono approached MTN Mobile Limited and complained that he had made several visits to their offices of bail and no deposit of money was forthcoming. The general manager customer care Mobile Money Limited indeed checked the mobile money account of Mr. Katono and established that no deposit had been made by bail. Mr. Opoko also confirmed there was no deposit made on Katono Rashid's account on Centenary Bank. So what does that mean? Centenary Bank, okay, and MTN, they had to discipline their agent. And as a result of that, they had to refund Mr. Katono money, not so? So we want to see whether he received his money. Mobile Money Limited approached Centenary Bank where bail banks and raised the complaint with the bank, okay? The bank manager, Mr. Opoko James, acting on hinge, decided to check the personal bank account of Mr. Clever Mutoni. He established that Clever Mutoni had deposited a sum of 3.5 on his personal account. This was within minutes of the transaction involving Katono Rashid and BL. Mr. Opoko placed a hold on blocked the bank account of Trevor Mutton and placed a hold on account on Bell to the extent of 4 million shillings until the matter is resolved. ML then advised Katono that ML had done all it could to help him, and should he fail to recover the money from Bell, MTN would not be liable. The question is a principal liable to the actions of the agent? So the answer is yes. Questions, okay? Explain the obligations and rights of all parties. What are the obligations of Centenary Bank as the principal? What are the obligations of Mobile Money as the principal? And what are the obligations of Bell as the agent? Okay. Then advise the bank on its liability, if any, to Bell and Clever Mutton. Can the bank recover from these guys? Can the bank recover? Remember, Mutton, okay, is the head of Bell. Bell is a company, not so. That means a company is distinct from its shareholders, not so. So that means the bank can recover from Bell, but can't recover from Clever Mutton. Are we together? He thought company stopped today. Yeah. So what remedies are available to Katono Rashid in the circumstances? To sue the bank for breach of customer relationship. Okay, he can sue for recovery of his money. That's the remedy available. Okay, he can sue Mobile Money and Centenary Bank for recovery of money. What C? Part C, Bonrich Enterprises Limited opened another account with DFCU Bank and was issued with a checkbook. So that means, which act are we reading? The Bills of Exchange Act, basically section 72 and above. Question 1. Question 1, explain the different types of negotiable instruments that you know and how they operate. They are talking about bills of exchange. You have a check, we have promissory notes and bills of lading, etc. Okay. Then 2, what is the maximum amount permitted on a check as a negotiable instrument? That one is sorted. Assuming the estates of officer Benrich Enterprises Limited accessed the document marked B from the managing director's desk, he appended a second mandatory signature on the document. He also completed the document and filled in the details Kaka Hardware Limited for cement supplied to his site in Kauku. He wrote the amount on the document as 5.9. The document was honored. A, advised DFCU Limited on its potential liability to Bonrich Enterprises Limited. What are the duties of a drawer? What are the duties of a drawer of a check? 1, to ensure that it takes reasonable skill and care. That means you shouldn't draft checks which are incomplete. Look at the check he gave. Okay? So that means his check was blank. It provided room for fraud. He was negligent. So the question is the bank liable in such circumstances? What are the duties of the bank when they are honoring a check? To notify the drawer. Did they notify him? Go on. Is the bank liable? Yes. In the event of liability on part of, imagine. Question 2 is giving you the answer in 1. So you'll find someone, because negligence was on part of Bonrich, okay? And you will rush and come to the conclusion, but the bank is liable, okay? We said that in event of liability on part of the FCU bank, what recourse does it have against Kaka Hardware Limited? Okay, Kaka Hardware Limited. Have you ever heard of the principle of money hard earned, received? Kaka Hardware Limited, okay, received the money, not so, from who? Okay, Bonrich Enterprises, not so. Did the bank supply any product to Bonrich? That means that is unjustifiable enrichment. The check is clear, it is drafted by. So how can you take money for something you've not done? So that means the bank can sue Kaka Hardware Limited for the cause of action is unjustifiable enrichment. B, the estates officer of Bonrich Enterprises Limited, you sue him for fraud. He is not, you have to go, I told you to look at what we call a holder. When you look at the Bills of Exchange Act, it defines a holder and states a holder includes a holder in due course, okay? And then a holder is a person who receives a check without any form of fraud, okay? So when you look at these facts, the estate's manager received this check fraudulently. Who gave it to him? He just accessed it from the desk without consent of the director. So that means he is fraudulent. So does not amount to a holder in due course. So we shall sue him for fraudulent. Okay. Yes, that's B. Then part 2 says that assume Bonrich Enterprises Limited signed up for internet banking for an account with DFCU Bank Limited. The managing director had the PIN to initiate the transaction, and the transaction had to be approved by the company secretary. Okay. It has recently been noticed that while the managing director traveled to Addis Ababa, a fraudster initiated a transaction of 2 million, was withdrawn from the company's account using internet and deposit as mobile money on telephone number this and this belonging to a one Njoroge Moses. The matter was reported to police, and it was discovered that the fraudster switched off the phone and it's no longer in operation. As of now, the whereabouts of the fraudster are unknown. Advise Bonrich Enterprises Limited on the rights in respect of the transaction. Advise Bonrich Enterprises Limited. We are advising the company, not so. A company is independent from its shareholders, and so what are its rights? Can this company recover from Sentinel, from the FCU? Yes. Can the company recover? Who has the hold of the bid? The company director. Who was supposed to approve the transaction? It is. So who was negligent? Was it the bank or the customers? So that means the customers cannot recover. So the company can sue its managing director and the secretary for negligence. Okay? Company, they have to sue for negligence. Okay? Or causing fine. If they go under criminal, it's causing financial loss. We are looking for ways of getting our money back. That is banking B. Silence amounts to acceptance that which are done. Yes. Okay, we have part D, the last one. Okay. Part D, the last one. Let's read. It says, Further, in fact, in C above, Ashim Kaka Hardware Limited presented the document marked B above to its bank as Centenary. Because they had a good relationship with the Centenary Bank Limited, they were allowed to immediately, okay. For part B, read the case of Obed Tashoba versus DFCU Bank. Part D, just read that case, it answers that, period. Workshop 1 is done. Okay, simple as that. Part D, kindly read the case of Obed Tashobia. There are the exact facts of that case. Okay, so I know you guys are extremely tired. Let me wish you the best. Go and relax. Take time. You see that last week was confusing. This week is another problem. Okay, so take time and relax. Okay, but read hard. Okay, so let me wish you the best. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I hope we understand. You say here, you say manage life and secretary.
Yeah, connect the girls. Because
I can't support